I think there's an excitement in the air today, and I applaud all of you for coming out in this potentially exciting storm that's coming. I always I feel this kind of joy of anticipation for the beauty that storms bring, but also an anxiety about preparation. Will we lose power? I always loved Grandma Moses's portrait of "It snows, oh it snows." I think partially because it captures some of that excitement and beauty. I've attended the first 2 nights of the Global Oneness Summit, which challenges us to set a daily intention, coming from a place of love or calm versus fear, anger, or anxiety. That isn't always easy these days, but it's a worthy challenge. Do we have any visitors here today who'd like to introduce themselves? If not, visitors are always, if you don't feel like introducing yourself, but you're here, visitors are always invited to sign the guest book in the back of the sanctuary. And there are also assistive hearing devices and large print programs and hymns available at the table at the back of the church. And remember to quiet your cell phones, and Tatum is here there he is, for doing childcare later on in the service. After church today, there is a potluck downstairs in the social hall, which will be followed by our annual meeting. Please don't be put off by the potluck aspect. We always have plenty of food and all are welcome. The annual meeting is for members to vote on our 2026 budget, as it tells you about in the program. If you'd like to be able to vote, it's not too late to become a member, joining the church today by simply signing the big book, which is in the back of the church, and you would see Ann Winya. Our opening words this morning, initial words, are from Mohsen Mandawi, who posted the statement, "We are on the verge of a massive shift. We must stay rooted in nonviolence, unite, and speak up against social injustice from a place of love, not fear. The outcome will be decided by the people, not by tyrants or the weapons industry, including big tech and finance giants. 2026 is a year of serious transformation. It could go either way, and that's why your voice is essential." I'm also going to share a couple of excerpts from letters that I received this week. And one was from a local person who I don't know, who is a protester at Tribal Park. And he says, "Hey folks, I wanted to write because I legitimately don't know what the national news coverage of Minneapolis is like right now, but I can't imagine it's doing things justice. However bad you think this is, it's worse. Minneapolis and St. Paul public schools have gone virtual. Many businesses are shut down. Both cities have stopped ticketing abandoned vehicles because there are so many cases of ICE snatching up the drivers and leaving their cars in the middle of the street. Do whatever you can safely do to protest and/or contact your elected officials. It does not feel like hyperbole to say the soul of the country is at stake." And that was written before the second thing happened, which one person referred to as being similar to when the second tower in New York came down, like we all saw the first and didn't see the second one coming. I contacted a cousin of mine who lives in Minneapolis, and she was saying that their little church, which I don't think is affiliated with anyone in particular, but what they're doing is picking up food and diapers and those kinds of things and delivering them to immigrants who are afraid to leave their homes to go get what they need. And I feel like that's a really important contribution. The other excerpt is from a letter our daughter Heather Marinello Jans sent out advertising an upcoming talk she's giving on the status of immigration in Massachusetts, which is moved from tomorrow night to next Monday because of the weather. She says, "Hi there. I try to be a voice of calm and hope, despite what is happening in the immigration world, but I have to say that I'm absolutely floored. It's been a terrible week for immigrants and for those of us who care about them. While the people of Maine and Minnesota and across the country give me hope every time they stand up for their immigrant neighbors, I'm hearing too many stories about schools closing, empty supermarkets, and our clients locking themselves in their houses. For now, we can hug those close to us as we think about what got us to this point. After that, we must do what we can to fight injustice. I know it's a tough time, and I just want to say thank you so much for all that you're doing to support immigrants and this community. We need your help, and we are so grateful for you. Signed, Heather. We are all Minnesotans now, or maniacs as they choose to call themselves sometimes. We are all immigrants, strong but fragile. We are the homeless. We are all the homeless seeking shelter from the cold, seeking a meal, trying to protect our families. And I will note that as we were going through Lebanon last night, we passed the homeless shelter where there was a line of about 30 people waiting to get in. I guess it opened at 1 and we were coming through around between 12:30 and 1, but my heart goes out to the unsheltered. So now let us enter into a time of meditation. In the words of Thich Nhat Hanh, the next manifestation of the Buddha will be community.
One day, we will throw our caps into the air in celebration, like a graduation, as if we were joyfully stepping into a brave new world. It's a tradition, actually, refashioned from an older ritual that was changed to meet a new situation, so that the ritual could come to life again. Hymn number 154 in Singing the Living Tradition in your gray hymnals is a song that a young Jewish man from Minnesota refashioned when he came out with Blowing in the Wind in 1962. You can hear the relationship in the melodies. I think it's a very cool thing that how many roads must a man walk down started as no more auction block for me, no more, no more, no more, no more auction block for me, many thousands gone. It's very cool because these two songs make us family. A person who grows up in rural Minnesota can be related through the arts with a person who grows up 24 years later in suburban New Jersey, even though we've only met in music, just because our souls have touched. When Jesus said, "Welcome, stranger," When Jesus said, we're all God's children, when Jesus said, love thy neighbor, he was talking about touching souls. He was talking about beloved community. That's what they're defending in Minnesota right now. They're defending the best of what it means to be American. Being an American is hard. We don't always understand one another. We don't always want to understand one another. And we don't always understand ourselves. And here we have some work to do. Many Thousands Gone is an essay by James Baldwin. In it, he wrote, the ways in which the Negro has affected the American psychology are betrayed in our popular culture and in our morality. In our estrangement from him is the depth of our estrangement from ourselves. In our estrangement from him is the depth of our estrangement from ourselves. So I really love the piece that we just sang. I'm going to lift my brother, my sister, my sibling up. They are not heavy. If I don't lift them up, I will fall down. We are connected in this way. We can graduate into a world in which that connection is more visceral. How can we refashion Baldwin's words and apply them today? Here again, we have some work to do. Good morning, wanderers and worshipers. It's good to be together. From Wikipedia come these words about a famous painting called The Problem We All Live With. Do you know this painting? In 1964, Norman Rockwell painted it, and it is considered an iconic image of the civil rights movement in the United States. It depicts a young Ruby Bridges, a 6-year-old African-American girl, on her way to William Frantz Elementary School in an all-white public school on November 14th of 1960, during the New Orleans school desegregation crisis. Because of the threats of violence against this child, she is escorted by 4 deputy U.S. Marshals. The painting is framed so that the marshals' heads are cropped at the shoulders, making Bridges the only fully visible person. And on the wall behind her is written a racial slur, the N-word, and the letters K, K, K in graffiti. A smashed and splattered tomato is thrown against the wall, is also visible. White protesters not visible, as the viewer is looking at the scene from their point of view. The painting is oil on canvas and measures 36 inches by 58 inches. What a beautiful country we live in. What a beautiful country we live in. It's not infinitely beautiful. We show our ugly sides now and then, these days. Our beauty has been diminished by the losses that we have suffered, by the losses of Renee and Charlie. There is an AI-generated photograph of the two of them standing side by side. There is no energy between them. No history, no life, no tissue, no connection. And yet each is affirming the other, beyond the boundaries of their lives, beyond perhaps even the intentions of their deaths, beyond perhaps the violation of the meaning of their lives. Only in a lifeless artifice of a meta-imagination does this image exist of Renee Nicole Good, looking forward dispassionately, holding a sign that says, "He didn't deserve it," intended for Charlie James Kirk, pictured standing next to Renee, looking forward dispassionately, holding a sign that reads, "She didn't deserve it." It's not a depiction of their lives, their experiences, their choices. This highly manipulated image is an aspect of our current grieving. And who are we to grieve in this way? I bring this up because there's another manipulated image that I want to talk about. It is the manipulated image of that very Norman Rockwell painting that I just described. After more than 60 years, it has been updated. Now walking patiently and assuredly behind the 6-year-old Ruby Bridges, the young African-American girl, there is a 5-year-old Liam Ramos with his blue bunny hat and his Spider-Man knapsack. Liam Conejo Ramos, the child that was detained by ICE and flown to Texas a few days ago. Added beneath the graffiti, beneath the N-word and the KKK, is the word immigrant. Seemingly just as violent as profane, and as profane as the two other words. Conejo, incidentally, Conejo is Liam Ramos's middle name. Conejo is the Spanish word for rabbit, which pretty much explains the blue bunny hat. Who are we in this sacred American tradition? Who are we to grieve in this way? How are we related? Cornel West says, when I think of those who came before, when I think of the many thousands gone that James Baldwin used to talk about with such insight, when I think about the Sojourner Truths and the Harriet Tubmans and the Ida B. Wells Barnetts and the A. Philip Randolphs, the Martin Kings, the Ella Bakers, and the Fannie Lou Hamers. When I think about white brothers like Elijah Lovejoy or Miles Horton, white sister like Anne Breeden or Emily Mann. When I think of Jewish brothers like David Einhorn in the 19th century or Abraham Joshua Heschel or Grace Paley, a Jewish sister. When I think of the Brown brothers like Cesar Chavez, a gay brother like Harvey Milk, or a lesbian sister like Audre Lorde, they are part of the same tradition. It's always been a tradition to say, whosoever will, let him or her come forward if you're ready to make certain moral choices, political commitments, and pay a cost. It's a tradition that raises the most fundamental question of what does it mean to be human? And further, what does it mean to be human in America? We are struggling with this question all across the country right now. We are struggling with this question in Minnesota. Written into my script were these words: Michael, could you help me with something? I need your help this morning. Written into this script. In the deepest way possible, I need your help with some music. Can I teach you a melody that you can then teach to the choir? I'm reading what I wrote because when I walked in, the choir was singing what I was going to ask Michael to help me with. They sang this walking the streets of Minnesota, singing for your neighbors now, and they would sing, hold on, my dear ones, here comes the dawn. Imagine what it is to be a migrant family and watch a crowd of hundreds of overly dressed Minnesotans walking down the street singing these words, hold on, my dear ones, here comes the dawn. That's not the dawn that breaks in the east, that's the dawn that breaks in the center. Will you sing with them? Hold on, all of us, please. Hold on, my dear ones, here comes the dawn. They carried signs that said, hands off my neighbors. They carried a sign that says, hands off my neighbors. We sing this to protect the best that is within us, to protect the best in us becoming possible, even if we've never seen this side of ourselves before, and especially if we've never seen this side of ourselves before, the part of ourselves that flows from a well that has long run dry. We do not let the world rob us of that which is so dear. Thank you. They can't take that away from me. They can't take that away from you. They can't take that away from us. No matter what they do, we are lions now. We are no longer young.